There is a reason why I am so very critical of other fields and staff members of other fields, particularly field refs, because I am under the belief that the field, above all else, not the players, it's not retail stores, it's not brands, it's not manufacturers, it's not distributors, fields. Fields dictate community. A field is what tells the player what is and is not acceptable within the game of Airsoft. Because the field's going to set rules. Generally speaking, a player has a home field and very rarely travels. The average player, let's be honest, does not travel to a lot of fields. They don't. They don't feel the need to. They're not that hardcore into the sport or into the game or doing, whatever. They go to one field only. And that one field is where they get their perception and their community standards and their ethics from Airsoft. So when I see fields half-hearting or putting in like C- level effort into their product, into the field, into their rules, into how they interpret their rules, into the overall community, into their local community, I get pissed off. I'll be honest. And that's when you see me when I start trash talking other refs, I'll trash talk other fields openly. It doesn't bother me because I'm usually right. Let's look at the average most field owners or most fields. Start with paintball fields that have Airsoft in them. Remember, I've said this in other videos. There's no such thing as an Airsoft field that also does paintball. It's always a paintball field with Airsoft. Usually, in that business model, the Airsoft field is an afterthought. It's secondary. No one really cares as much about the Airsoft piece as they do about the paintball piece. Also, it's usually run, managed, and staffed by paintballers, so they don't know the semantical differences between Airsoft and paintball. They're very different if you play the two of them. That's where you're going to see problems with rules. That's when you're going to see problems with reffing and enforcement of rules because the refs, they're paintballers, they don't understand the Airsoft. There's semantical differences, and specifically with wording and interpretation of certain rules. So that's when you see me starting to trash talk them. But if I own a paintball field and I have Airsoft there as well, I don't care. Let's be honest. They don't care because they know you're going to keep going to that field Saturday, Sunday, whenever I'm up. You're going to keep going. No matter how bad the product gets, you're not going to stop playing. You're just going to suck it up and keep going. That's why a lot of these fields are still in existence. That's why a lot of toxic fields are still in business because players don't know how to affect change within the community because they want to keep playing no matter what. They allowed a bad relationship to happen. They would rather date a psychopath than roll the dice on being single. That's real too. So, what obligations do I believe refs and fields have to players? For fields, I believe that a field needs to be open and honest with every rule they have, and it needs to be on their website. Website design is kind of whatever. I really don't care about a website design. I'm going to a field's website for information. I don't really care about cool, cutesy pictures. That's me. Keep in mind, I would label myself as a hardcore player. I want to know what the hours of operation are. I want to know what the pricing is, and I want to know what certain specific rules are. How I judge a field on whether or not I think a field will be toxic or not. Is there an MED? Are there days without MEDs? Are spawn points clearly marked? What's the FPS? Also, in FPS, are bang kills mandatory? Are they? Can I target? Can I intentionally shoot the head? There's several rules that I specifically look for when I look at Airsoft fields to go play, and that to me will tell me if I'm going to have a bad time or not. There are certain fields that I kind of I don't want to say that I refuse to go to because I don't really believe in that. Look, I went to GamePod for crying out loud. I gave them a chance. But I will go to every field once Whether or not I go a second time is different. Now, some people don't like that I say that because I represent a field. Like, oh, how dare you, you're an assistant manager, you're head ref. Like, yeah, bro, but I like to play too. I as a player have a right to voice my opinion about a field if I don't like the field. You will never hear me say, this field sucks, period, send, end statement. That's not the kind of person I am. If you go back and look at my GamePod review, it was very specific and detailed. I don't necessarily mind an MED. I don't necessarily mind it. Depends on what it is, depends on why it is, depends on some of the other factors going on with that field. But I generally don't like playing fields with MEDs. Generally speaking. Of course I'll make exceptions. Of course I've played Tax City on weekends. I've also played Full Force there too. I would prefer Full Force. That's a personal opinion. Because again, I don't like MEDs. So a field has an obligation, I think, to, above all else, be open and honest with their rules as much as possible and be as specific as possible. I've seen fields write their rules with the most generic, like, this is an honor sport, call your hits, don't be a jerk, don't swear. Like, okay, this isn't specific to anything. You're just talking about conduct. This is the basic stuff. I know I shouldn't shoot myself in the eyeball inside of, like, in the staging area. And if I don't know that, at some point I'm probably going to die for some stupid reason anyway, so who cares? That's just one less car in traffic on the freeway. That's how I classify that. But fields that are very generic with their rules or that aren't specific or that have a bad wording, I'm hesitant to go there. I'm very hesitant to go to those fields because I'm pretty sure it's not going to play to the way I like to go. I like to run and go. I like to be a psycho on the field. You see how I run my DSG. I go hard. Because I can. Because my field allows those rules. So, when I see videos of fields and refs yelling like, slow down the trigger, only double taps or this, that, and the other, I'm like, ooh. I don't think I should go to that field. I don't think I'm going to have a very good time. I'll give a specific example. I'm hesitant to go to the field, to AEX's field in Santa Clara. I'm very hesitant to go to that field because of the videos I see of their rules and, their bank hill rules, and you can only shoot like double taps or something. And I'll be honest, I am hesitant to go to that field. Am I going to go there? Yeah, I'm going to go there once. Am I going to go there and play per their rule set? Of course. I'm not going to go there with what's the honor in getting kicked out of the AEX field? What's the cool part about that? I like the AEX guys. I like the AEX company. It looks like a really simple, basic field layout. I would like to go and play it. Do I think I'm probably going to go there a second time? I'll be honest. Right now, I don't think I will. Am I going to go there a first time to go there and give it a shot? You bet your sweet patootie I will. Am I going to have a blast? Yeah, I am. Am I going to take friends with me and have a great time? Yeah, I am. Is it going to be GamePod bad? No, it's not. But look at the rules. Look at some of the gameplay videos online. Some of the ref to player interactions. I'll be honest. That's a field I'm hesitant about. Just being honest. One player's opinion. That is one player's opinion that likes to play a certain aggressive style of play. The way a lot of us like to play is not for everyone. It's also not conducive for newer players. It's not. If you're running a field and a preponderance of your customer base is newer style players, yeah, the AEX field model is the way you need to do it. That's a personal opinion. I also think fields have an obligation to give back to foster the community. Meaning, fields should be having tournaments. They should be encouraging teams. They should be helping teams form. So I will put out, say, a post on the Airsoft Ministries Instagram. I haven't done it in a while. I'll probably do it again at some point. I'll throw out a post that says, hey, if you're looking for a team, start talking here. And you will see teams forming in the comment section. You will see guys get picked up by teams in the comment section of that Instagram post. I believe fields have an obligation to do that. Also, from a business standpoint, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you have tournaments? That's another niche customer base you can go to. I don't understand. Some fields, maybe their field, maybe the dynamics aren't set up for it. Like maybe they only have one primary field, and they feel like they won't make as much money on a Saturday tournament versus Saturday regular play. So sometimes there's a financial struggle in there that they don't feel like they're going to cover their end. I say suck it up and do it. It's one Saturday. You can devote one entire day to a tournament, and the marketing value, the community value you're going to get out, you're going to get more than a monetary value. If you're just in Airsoft for money, you're going to fail as a business. It's just a matter of time, and you're probably going to be a very bad field because you just care about the weekend general play admissions fee. That's it. If that's the kind of field you are, stop watching this video, and it's just a matter of time before maybe I buy your field one day. Yeah, that might happen. Refs have an obligation. Notice I'm using the word obligation, meaning mandate, meaning you should be doing this. I feel that refs have an obligation to not only know the rules. Obviously, you have to know, but you need to know a detailed explanation. If you should be able to go to any field and talk to any ref and have them give specific examples and demonstrations and specifics about the rules, like overshooting. Overshooting is a perfect example. What is the field's definition of overshooting? Well, if you're shooting too much. Okay, well, what does that mean? Don't ever settle with ambiguity. The only way that you can kick my mic. The only way that I will accept ambiguity is when it comes to conduct, like unsportsmanlike conduct. That's going to be too generic, and that's going to be too many specific examples for one ref to be able to explain. Usually, conduct is things such as, but not to, including but not limited to profanity, physical contact, general disrespect, things of that nature. Okay, in that we can allow ambiguity. But overshooting. At Airsoft Ministry, the overshooting principle is generally one single player may shoot another single player up to 3 times. That's a principle. Meaning, if this kid is running, say 15 yards away from me, and he's in a full sprint, it's going to be real hard for me to track and hit that kid on the move, especially if I'm moving. So if I'm shooting in his direction and 4 shots land at him, you're not trying to overshoot him. It's just you're trying to hit him. There's a difference. But if there's another player, a static player standing still, say I can take a player's back and he's static, meaning he's standing still, I can shoot him 3 times in the back. I can shoot him 3 times. If I shoot him 4 times, that's overshooting. So there are examples. There's guidelines and principles for things like overshooting. A minimum engagement distance. Have a ref tell you, okay, you stand there, and I'm going to keep walking backwards, and you tell me when I am 10 feet away from you. You tell me when I can shoot you. Let me know. And then you stop and mark and go, dude, I'm 15 feet away. You're stupid. Why aren't players checking more refs? Why aren't you asking specific questions to refs? Because if I go to a field and I don't feel like their ref has a grasp of the rules, I'm going to leave. Because at some point I'm probably going to have a bad time. That's an opinion. That's the biggest thing for me, is that's why I harp on rules, other than the fact that I was a cop. So there's that. That's why I'm so hard on refs in other fields for their lack of specificity in their rules, because it tells me you don't care about your product or your service. You don't care if I have fun. You just want me to show up, pay my money, shut my mouth, and if I never come back again, you don't care because you got my money that one time. I've regularly offered out-of-state players or players coming from SoCal, if I can find out that maybe a kid's coming all the way up from LA and he wants to come check the field out, dude, drop in for free. I don't care. It's $10. What do I care? Because I know. Look at it like a drug dealer. If I can get you hooked, I'll give you a little taste. If I can get you hooked on the airsoft ministry, you're going to come. I will give. There are certain scenarios where sometimes we'll let players jump in for free. They're kind of rare and few and far between, but it's with the understanding that you're gonna come. If you come back, we did a great job. If you don't come back, it's probably because we suck. You either in business, you have a good product or you don't. Why do you think right now there's two fields I always try to go out of my way to play at in SoCal? I go out of my way to try and make it down to Tac City. I go out of my way to try and make it down to Project N1. Those two fields, if I'm in Southern California, even if it's not airsoft related, I will at least try and schedule it. Whether or not I make it is entirely different, but it's always on the top of my mind because I believe those two fields to be a high value product. They're great to me. They take great care of me. I love those guys. I love both of those fields for many reasons, and I always try to go out of my way to go to those fields. No other field has done that with me yet. I'm not saying it's not going to happen in the future. I'm saying those two fields have such a good product. I'm sold. I'm a lifetime lover of both of those fields. That's how I roll. It's just customer. It's brand loyalty. It's customer loyalty. That's it. What's your customer loyalty like at your field? Do they care if you come back, or do they just want your one-time money? I usually, from what I have seen, from what others have shared with me, paintball fields with airsoft fields have a tendency to be the worst offenders for the reasons we talked about earlier. Sometimes solo airsoft fields that just do airsoft, yeah, sometimes they suck too, because again, their customer service lacks. It sucks. Their rules suck, or they have a terrible job of writing them out. Or their rules will say one thing in the website, but then in the safety briefing, it will be something completely different, and then a ref will enforce it completely different entirely. So where's the consistency? If you go, or if you are looking at an airsoft field, you need to be looking at their rules, because their rules will generally tell you almost everything you need to know about that field, on whether they suck or not. That's it. Okay, bye.